So AI creating more wealth than ever, but fewer people are sharing it. AI companies don't build a vacuum. They depend on public infrastructure, chips, power grids, data networks, education system, all of which were built over decades through collective investment. Where do you draw the line between a public contribution and a private achievement? That tension between collective investment and private reward is exactly what we're here to discuss today.
This is difficult because we know that OpenAI, for example, does model training on publicly available information. Now, once information is within public domain, this goes to a separate question about what is the actual intellectual property ownership of that data that exists in the public domain. So it could be argued on both sides, but then at what point, where is the line drawn? These are very fundamental questions that we need to challenge before even talking about what the exact dividend should be in terms of profit sharing with a country that has AI as a national product.
For us to suddenly proceed from that particular point where we're still debating that issue, where we're still contending for a seat at the table to talk about dividends without first understanding the framing and the contextualization of what that dividend is, we risk victimizing us the way the issues of oil and natural resources have victimized the global south.
The whole concept and the whole discussion about dividends is really a reaction. The crisis does not begin when people protest, phone strike, or government intervene, right? It begins earlier in the process when the system loses its ability to connect itself before those outcomes become visible. And an example of that is this. What we've seen right now is this 15% visible societal fragmentation. That's what we're seeing right now. But underneath that are the hidden synchronization of all these pressures: unemployment, people losing their work, companies not giving dividends. All these are the structural elements that are not siloed, but they are basically in such a way that they're connecting, and these pressures and fragmentations are colliding.
Africa and the global south being then it was extractive industry situation, being the breadbasket of the world, and everyone going out there and repurposing the whole thing and coming back and selling it back to us complete. Are we continue to pay the expected dividend? It's the same old problem. It's a change of dance step, but it's the same music, the same old stand. You cannot depend upon the goodwill of companies to do good. Whatever you consider to be the dividends of AI across the globe and specific to the global south, it must be structural.
So, in short, contribution, not citizenship; compute access, not cash; labor protection that follows the work, not the contract. Those are the three pivots from the current proposal to a dividend that actually reaches the workers who created the value.
But I am of the opinion that the governments could no longer be reactive to this discussion. Don't be blinded by the dividend discussion. Be more conscious and worked about what systems do we need to put in place before different thresholds are crossed, so that our country doesn't move slower than the speed of the acceleration of AI development in our countries.